I went to go see Wicked. I liked it a lot. I'm not a musical head, but I really liked Wicked. Now, even though it's not canon to the Wizard of Oz, but the backstory of how all the characters come to be, listen, I don't like Cynthia Erivo, but when I tell you she killed it, listen, I'm sitting here in the theater like, this bitch looks good. Okay? I'm sitting here watching Wicked with the wife, and she just like, I didn't know it was a musical. Like, how did you not know? I'm sitting here watching Wicked, looking at Elphaba, and I'm like, this bitch looks good and green. Do you understand me? I'm sitting here lusting over Cynthia Erivo's rendition of Elphaba. Big old juicy lips. She got the little gap in her teeth white as whatever. Got the micro braids down to the side. I'm like, this heifer can get it. You know, she looked good. Listen, she looked good. She sounded good. I bet she probably smelled good too. Ariana Grande is the star that we all knew she was since Disney. Her pipes were on point, and the way she played Galinda, it was funny. The whole with the breakdown of the name, the original name is Galinda, but there's a professor, a goat, and he would say Galinda, and he couldn't say Galinda. He would always say Glenda, and she's like, my name is Galinda. He was like, yeah, well, I don't have two front teeth, so it's Glenda. If this movie doesn't make $1 billion, it will get damn close. All right, this was a phenomenal. I don't even like musicals. I could stomach the songs because I've heard the songs before. Spoilers. I'm gonna spoil this whole thing. The wizard is Elphaba's father. Okay, because Elphaba's mother had an affair with this man who gave her a green potion to drink to get drunk. And then months later, here comes Elphaba. Right? Let me see. Okay, so the reason why the Wicked Witch of the West was created, because Elphaba was the only one with real magical powers, to the point where she's clearly the strongest individual in Oz. And Oz and the professor knew she existed, right? So he knew that was his child years and years ago. He just went to Oz and like, she'll come to me at some point. They needed her to read the spell book, the Grimoire. She's the only one that could have read the Grimoire, right? So when her younger sister, the crippled, got the shiz, the daddy was like, just watch her. She wasn't even initially enrolled in school. So then she got upset. She displayed her powers. All of a sudden, they made a slot for her to be in the university, and then she ends up sharing a room with Glenda, and so there's this plot. So there used to be a bunch of talking animals that would teach at the university. Then over the decades, the voices of these animals would be silenced. It was an attack on animal free speech. The professor that they had, voiced by Peter Dinklage. Professor, I forget the name, but he was a goat, one of Elphaba's professors, and they had a common bond because, you know, Elphaba's like, nobody should be silenced, nobody should be scorned, nobody should be judged. It's a pretty fairly deep movie. Now, granted, the book was extremely progressive when it first came out 35 years ago. There are scenes when they're in the salon, when they went to Oz. I'm time skipping, but when Elphaba and Glenda went to Oz, they're in the salon. You clearly see the El Gibbet, the little flaming boys on the sides. The one of Glenda's like little flunkies, the little Asian dude, he's flaming, and he's wearing like a half skirt pant, right? The girls will wear these the pant legs with the skirts. His was like half a skirt, so he was like he's wearing a skirt with the pants, so he clearly flamed. And then So she discovers this plot, the silence of animals. She follows the professor. The professor and a bunch of other animals are like, hey, spread the word, the revolution. Animals' voices are being silenced, and they're being taken off and disappeared and snatched up and kidnapped and moved to black sites, never to be seen again. So Elphaba discovers this. She bonds with the professor. The next day in class, the professor gets dragged out. They bring in a new professor to teach the history, and there's a little baby leopard in a cage. They bring in this introduction of cages for the animals. Okay, and Elphaba's like, no, you can't do this. It's not right. Blah 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 blah. So she ends up getting an invite to Oz because the professor lets him know that, hey, she's here. You need to come see her. Your daughter is your daughter is here. So she goes to Oz. She meets the wizard. She ends up, the monkeys don't have wings just yet. So the monkeys are like the Praetorian guards to Oz. They guard the castle, whatever the case may be. So when she opens up the Grimoire and she's actually reading one of the spells, just automatically she reads the spells, and everybody's looking like, oh my gosh, she can read the spells. We can do whatever we want to do. And then the one monkey, he has an affinity for birds. He loves birds. He likes to watch the birds. She ends up reading the Grimoire, and then she casts a spell. The monkeys end up growing wings. The monkeys grow wings. It's a very painful process they go through, but they end up growing wings. And she's like, oh my God, I didn't know. It's like, well, can I reverse the spell? And they're like, no, once you cast the spell from the Grimoire, you can't reverse it. So there's that. So then she realizes the wizard has no power. She realizes the wizard needed her to read the Grimoire because he can't read it. So then this whole fight or flight thing ensues. Basically, and then so the Oz tells her, hey, listen, you know how I got all these people together. So when I first came here, matter of fact, there was a prequel of Oz. I think it was with James Franco. You should watch that. James Franco played Oz, early Oz, and his adventures when he got to Oz and how he got the people together, how he became the wizard. He was a magician, like a low-level magician, even though it's not canon, but it gives you a good backstory. So he says, when I came to Oz, the people were fractured, but I had to bring them together. So I had to give them a good villain or a good reason to come together. So he convinced the people that the animals were the problem to unite the people of Oz. So that's how they've been silencing the animals. She's like, well, that's not right. And they're like, hey, listen, you can have whatever you want. Just go with the program. She's like, no, because she's an honorable character. She wants to stand up for righteousness, the downtrodden, those that don't have a voice. She's the voice for the voiceless. So she is a high moral character. Elphaba is a high moral character. So she steals the Grimoire. There's a chase ensues. Her and Glinda, they're like, they send Glinda, hey, go talk to your girl because she bugging out. Glinda's like, hey, just listen to them, let them hear them out. Because Glinda is she's a spoiled brat. She has no real magic, right? She has no real magic because when the professor gives her a training wand and she can't do nothing, no, she has no magic. All she can do is like real sleight of hand, right? And then the whole scene when they're in her bedroom or they're in their dorm room and the song Popular pops up. And I love that rendition of Popular. Also, in the city scene, the two original actresses that played the characters in the play, Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel, have a nice little song in it. It was good to see them. Them women still look good for their ages. But anywho, she was like, ball gown. And she go through this whole ball gown. And she can't change her frock into a ball gown. This is during the Popular song. So that you kind of realize that Glinda has no real magic. So then the chase ensues. Then Elphaba casts one more spell for flight to leave the castle because everybody's trying to, they're trying to capture her. And then Glinda's like, well, it didn't work. Where's your wings? Lo and behold, here comes this broom. This broom activates and is drawn to Elphaba. And so basically, and Elphaba's like, just come with me. We can figure this out. We can do anything together. And Glinda's like, girl, just come on, don't rock the boat. Just hear him out, blah, blah, blah. The guards bust in. They capture Glinda. And Elphaba just runs out the window. And that's when she learns to take flight. And she, the hat was given to her from Glinda. It was Glinda's grandmother's hat. And she despised her grandmother, right? And so the scene where Glinda and Elphaba actually became friends, they went to an underground party, and Elphaba shows up with the hat, and they're all like, oh my god, look at her, that hat is ugly, she's green, blah 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 blah. So then Elphaba does this dance with this whole dance thing, and then Glinda joins in, and they're bonding in front of everybody. Then all of a sudden they all start doing the dance, and then Glinda and Elphaba leave. And at that point they were really friends. So in the very beginning of the movie, Glinda comes to announce that the Wicked Witch is dead, because in the very beginning you see this aftermath, this carnage where she melted, and you see the remnants of a broken wand, and her broom is on fire, and you hear the commotions of a fight that took place, and the monkeys all fly out the window looking for Dorothy that caused her to melt. One very ominous foreshadowing, when Elphaba is by herself, she's singing, she's running towards a cliff. The song, it says, one day I hope they celebrate me, and then I'm so happy I could just melt. I was like, oof, okay, I caught that. So then Glinda is to the people, the word done spread to Munchkin Land and all the kingdoms. Hey, the witch is dead. They got all these posters and shit, and they had to bring out this big ass wicker thing of the Wicked Witch. They set it on fire. So one of the town's girls asked her, hey, was it true that you were her friends with the witch? And Glinda's like, yeah, at one point we crossed paths. She was my friend. Here's the story. And she's telling the townsfolk the story of how her and Elphaba at one point were friends. So then at the end, when Elphaba's flying around on the broomstick and the monkeys are chasing her, and she comes back to the castle, y'all not gonna do this, I told you. And then she flies off. That's part one. Because if you watch the play, that's when they do the actual intermission, after she's on her path. And then the professor, Oz, they all start the campaign. Hey, citizens of Oz, we have an enemy, the green one. She's the Wicked Witch of the West, and she stole the Grimoire. She's now an evil person. So through propaganda is how she became the Wicked Witch of the West, even though she was standing on business, on principles. But because Oz and everybody else was corrupt, they wanted to use the Grimoire for evil against the animals. So now in part 2, we're going to get to how the Tin Man becomes the Tin Man, the Lion becomes the Lion, right? These are all, in part 2 you will get those characters, their evolution and how they come to be. There's a prince that's in that likes Glinda. So the prince is going to be the lion. Oh no, which one? The Scarecrow. You can already tell what characters are going to be what. So the prince is going to be the Scarecrow, because Glinda at one point is like, I don't like him. I don't like what he's doing. He can't think for himself anymore. It's troublesome. It worries me. See, there he goes again. He can't think for himself. And she says, I still want him. She says, I still want him. And then at one point, Elphaba and the Scarecrow had a little, locked eyes or whatever. They had a connection. So you already see where the characters are going to go. Once again, it's not canon, but everybody pretty much understands this is the actual backstory of how all the characters came to be in The Wizard of Oz. Phenomenal. If this thing does not make $1 billion, it will get damn near close. It will get damn near close. So I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay. So, did I shed a tear? No, nigga, I ain't shed no damn tear, but she looked good though. Shit. Listen, Cynthia Erivo looked good in that movie. I don't give what y'all talking about. Yeah, Dr. Dillerman. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, he wore skirts in the play too? See, okay. Right on. Hey man, listen, she looked good. She looked good in that movie. Now I can't say what she looking like now because she looked crazy. This woman done shaved off her eyebrows. She bald headed. She's looking hella gaunt. I mean, extremely thin. Oh, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do this. Let's see how much money it's made so far. I know Moana 2 is killing it. Moana 2, we went to go see it. I was like, it's cool. I'm cool. Let's look up Box Office Mojo. All right, where is Wicked? Hold up. Let's just do Wicked. Okay. Now, once again, this thing, if it doesn't make $1 billion, it will come damn close. Yeah. It will come damn close. It is already sitting at $360 million worldwide. Now, mind you, it just opened up overseas. It just opened at theaters overseas in these other territories. Domestically, this is huge. We kind of had an inkling it would do between 200 to 300 million domestically. So it's already sitting at 263 domestically. That's just here in the States, Canada, and Mexico. All right, and right now you got less than a week of it international release, so it's at 360 right now. I'm looking at anywhere between $800 to $1 billion for this movie. 800 to $1 billion for this movie. I don't see it going to streaming no time soon. Same thing with Moana. They're gonna let these movies rock for the rest of the year. I believe if they're smart, they're gonna let these movies rock out for the rest of the year in theaters. We still got Christmas coming up. So, Christmas, you're gonna have Red One, Moana, Nosferatu, and Wicked pretty much rocking out for the rest of the year. Yeah, I just don't see them putting this to streaming no time soon. This won't hit streaming until next year, till first quarter. So we're on our way. We're on our way for this. Listen, Cynthia Erivo, I don't like her attitude. She's a diva, but she's going to be a star from this. And then part 2 comes out next year. But just based off this, Cynthia Erivo is going to get a huge pay and increase in pay. Her stock just went up. Ariana Grande's stock just went up. Phenomenal acting by these two women. I mean, they carried this fucking movie. They did the heavy lifting. They did that. It was funny because, you know, at one point, Glinda does this hair bounce thing. She's like, you got to do like this, bounce. And then Elphaba was trying to do the bounce. It was hilarious. Like, Glinda's like the mean girl. She's like the witchy mean girl. She always gets her way. Matter of fact, it was one point in the movie where she didn't get her way. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna fall out. I didn't get my way." And she literally lays down, and her flunkies carry her to the room. Oh my god, I was dying. She's like, "Oh my god, I didn't get my way. I don't feel good. I'm gonna lay down." And she just literally just laid, and they caught her. Hilarious. Listen. You're gonna hear a lot more Cynthia Erivo. Her attitude just sucks, man. But she looked good in that movie, y'all. Oh, so then one more thing. Glinda changed her name from Galinda to Glinda in honor of the doctor, or the goat, even though it was under false pretense. She wasn't sincere, but yeah, she's like, nah, it's Glinda. So that's how that is. All right, I think I caught everything in that movie.